business. This your business. This your business.
All right, what's up, y'all? What's going on? This is Santi and Rose with Intellectual Dopeness.
Awakening Minds from Hypnosis.
Yes, and we are going to be talking about the outcome of this 2016 presidential election, okay? Obviously, we all woke up to a rude awakening this morning to find out that Donald Trump is our president. And even though I'm not excited to hear about that, I wouldn't have been excited any more or any less if Hillary Clinton would have been the president. So it's like, either way it go, it's really the same outcome, the same agenda, the same propaganda, the same war in the streets with police brutality and all of that shit is all the same thing. So like really Obama, who's everybody's savior right now, right? Obama's this perfect angel. But what did he do for the people who were being
Murdered
unlawfully arrested, exactly, getting killed right in the streets on CNN, Fox News? What was he able to do? So that's what I think we're going to be talking about today. Is just what exactly difference does it make that Donald Trump is or is not the president, like in reality?
I feel like the only difference really is they're able to speed up the process of their agenda a little bit quicker with someone who is knowingly a racist in office. Hillary Trump don't like black people either. Let's never forget the pictures that she has with all those KKK members. But she seemed to be the more acceptable, she seemed to be the person that people felt would save them more so. With Donald Trump in office, it's pretty much, everybody save yourself, but in our reality, that's what we should be striving to do anyways. I feel like it's important for people to understand the fear-based energy that is being put into all of this. Half of the United States is scared shitless right now, and that's exactly what they want. As long as we operate in fear, they control our minds and we don't move forward. So I really think that's one of the biggest things that we as people need to understand is the fear-based energy that goes in behind this, the propaganda, and the reality is they're gonna put in office whoever they want in office. Technically, the United States isn't ran by the president or Congress anyways. So it just helps them to speed along their process of what they're trying to do.
I definitely agree. Like the whole divide and conquer thing. Like once they seen the flare up of racism when Donald Trump became somebody that was even just running for president and just they were able to spin off that. I mean, I think it was just a test to really see how many people are actually like really that racist. Because I think it seems like prior to Donald Trump being the president or running for the presidential election, like people, almost racism was like something that people would be in denial about, as if there wasn't still racism going on. So all Donald Trump, coming into play really did was allow people to come to the forefront and really show who they really truly are. So honestly, I'm not mad. I want to be able to see my enemy.
It took no time for people to immediately, this morning, people were on the bridge in North Carolina with their KKK suits on. So it just goes to show that racism is not dead. It's very much still alive, and it's up to us to come together as a people to save ourselves. Donald Trump's not going to do it. Hillary's not going to do it. Oprah, Obama, none of them. We have to save ourselves, and that's what it all boils down to. These are things that we will continue to experience and go through as long as we allow our minds to be controlled by the elite few.
Exactly. So that's what I'm like really trying to figure out. Like, all the anger is just coming from. I think it really boils down to confusion. Nobody knows the reality or the truth, and people need to like be more open-minded to be able to really see the truth. Because if you continue to just follow the line of the system, and what you've been taught in school, you know what I'm saying, then, I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to be stuck in that way of processing your thoughts. And so you're not going to trust your intuition. You're not going to be able to do the research that is needed for you to be able to expand your mind and your understanding about what's really going on in our existence. So then you get to the point of just feeling helpless or like victimized, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because you haven't done your research to find out exactly what is really going on in the world. So you hear all these different things, you don't know what to believe, but that's because you're probably not doing your own research. You're not allowing your mind to be open enough. You're allowing whatever, propaganda or conditioning that has been pressed upon you, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, from school, that's what school is for, you know what I'm saying? Conditioning to get you to process your mind a certain type of way. So until you step outside of the box with your thinking, you're never going to really know. You're going to be so frustrated and angry and, sideswipe when a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying, some shit happened because you wasn't even really expecting it. You know what I'm saying? And then you don't take your own power into your own hands. It's like you're giving someone else your power by saying, oh, you want the president to save you. And so whether Hillary Clinton was the president or not, Hillary Clinton wasn't going to save you.
But history has shown us over and over again that this country is not, it's not in the favor of a black person. This country does not care really about our lives. They don't care about the things that we go through. We're still looked at as slaves. We're still not respected, and we still are really in the same situation that we was in years ago. The only difference now is instead of being slaves on a plantation, we're slaves at these corporations. So that's another thing that we need to realize is we need to expand our thinking and our way of processing and perceiving the reality around us in order to be able to change it.
Exactly. That is so true because, in every way possible, we've, been born into this shit. So it's, systematic almost.
Exactly.
Where we don't know anything more than what we were born into. So it's like we don't really necessarily know how to handle ourselves outside of being systematic, outside of wanting to follow the trends and be like every other normal person, you know what I'm saying, that, has a certain religion, has a certain, just the everyday average person, you know what I'm saying? If you're looking to be the average person all the time and you're never looking to just see who you are within yourself, you're always trying to fit in, you're always trying to just go with what everybody else thinks is what the truth is and not do your own thinking for yourself to find your own personal truth, and that's going to be the problem. That's what's going, to allow you to keep yourself trapped in this system and these issues that's going on. So like she said before, these corporations are always, conditioning us to, go work for a job. That's pretty much what they conditioned us in school about was, you gotta pretty much live to get a job, and then your job is gonna be your career. You're gonna work, you're gonna retire. Like, who the fuck?
And
what
I
kind of
hate
life
to break
is
it
that?
to you. You can be a judge, a lawyer, a doctor, a dentist. You can be an accountant. You are still a modern day slave because you are still answering to the system. You are still serving the system in some type of way. So it doesn't matter, if you're at the top of the food chain or if you're at the bottom of the food chain. You're still on the damn train. And that's what the problem is. We have to learn how to stop depending so much on these outside resources and these systems and create our own. Make systems that work for us. Make systems that serve us, because it's clear throughout time and history has shown us that they're not going to do that for us. We have to do it for ourselves.
Okay, got you. So yeah, obviously we both have a 9-to-5, we work, you know what I'm saying? We have jobs, but at the end of the day, there's levels to this shit. And it's like, if you don't even free your mind first to figure out, okay, well, this is a system that I'm feeding into. At least if you can't even just see that and accept that within your own mind, you probably won't take the proper steps to try to get yourself out of that situation. Like, I'm not looking to have no career in the job that I work at. I'm looking to work, get a paycheck, so I can invest in the things that I'm doing on an entrepreneur level, so I can just focus on building something for me, my family, my loved ones, or fellow people that want to network, that want to build and create something for a community, so that way we can survive in a situation where you have the odds against you. And so in this situation, I feel like if people allow their minds to be free enough to see outside of a career, and that's all you're doing is setting your life up to work for someone else, that's not even allowing you to have a mentality of, how can I survive for myself? This is the mentality of, I have to depend on somebody else to make a living. And we see every day how these jobs do not give a damn. They've taken all the unions out of the job. All they want to do is recycle people's social security numbers in the system. They'll keep you for a little while, and they will kick your ass out. They want to downsize. They want to lay everybody off. We already know that we have somebody in our family, we have friends, we have somebody that we know that has been laid off before. They may felt like they were contributing, doing everything that they could do for that job and put their best foot forward, and that did not keep them from being laid off. That didn't keep them from getting fired. So at the end of the day, when you have that mentality of, oh, I need to work for somebody else, that's automatically going to put you in that slave mentality, first off. And that's what they teach you. They condition you to not have a mind of, let me be an entrepreneur. Like, they should teach kids in school, what do you want to be when you grow up? Not who do you want to be like, but look within yourself and find out who do you want to be. And then you can be that. And you can be that in your own lane. You don't have to go work for somebody else. You can create your own wealth by providing a service, providing a skill, providing something that people can benefit from, and then you can become this or that. But people they're not taught that, so at the end of the day, we come into this world, as a child, and we get conditioned to a certain system that conditions our mind. Until we can redo all that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of mentality that you're gonna have. It's gonna be really difficult to come outside of that way of thinking to see the reality of the world that is really around us. So until we can do that, I feel like, hey, life can be difficult for you, you know what I'm saying? But until you decide that, okay, I'm willing to work on something, I can work my 9 to 5, but you know what? I also am, this is my goal though, that by this time I'm gonna be having my own shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? People, like you said, live off the grid. People, garden, it's like, do as many things that you can do so you are not so dependent on the system. Because, like, if the economy crashes, banks shut down, like, all different kind of shit that we think would never happen that could happen. All these things that's happened that we thought it would never happen has happened. Donald Trump is the president now. Come on now. So let's prepare ourselves for this shit at this point, after we done seen all these things that we thought would never happen keep transpiring every so often in our, like, near recent history. But we're able to see that, okay, you know what, maybe we need to get ourselves out of this certain type of mind frame, because at the end of the day, it's keeping us at a point of victimization where we feel helpless when situations happen, because, oh my gosh, we wasn't expecting that. They hit us from, you know what I'm saying, and they was coming from the right. So it's like, at the end of the day, we have to allow ourselves to think differently and see things differently, and realize that, yes, we've been conditioned. Yes, we've been brainwashed to feel these certain ways. Start questioning, why did you even feel that way? What type of evidence do you have? What research have you really done? Did you just hear your mama say it? Did you just hear your brother say it? Like, what makes you feel so confident in your beliefs? And you have to start questioning things, and then allow yourself to reprogram your mind. You know what I'm saying? But until you get out of that, you're gonna be worried about Donald Trump being the president. Next thing you know, fucking Hellraiser gonna be the motherfucking president.
I feel like this has applied pressure to us as individuals, as Black people, as human beings. The pressure has been applied to us, because if we leave it up to Trump, I mean, we're gonna have Holocaust 2 by 2018. And that's just the reality of the situation. So if you do feel scared about where the nation is going, or what's next for your future, or your kids, or your loved ones, is your family going to be deported? Are you going to be deported? Are you going to be harassed at school now for being gay? Like, if these are questions that are coming to your mind with this new president that is coming into office, then maybe the question also needs to come into your mind, okay, well, how am I going to make sure that me and my loved ones are safe? What can I do What system can I put into place that can help aid, this world into being a better place? We need to take ownership of the fact that we've even allowed it to get to this point where it's even acceptable for Donald Trump to run for president. Like, we have to take some ownership in allowing all of these things to take place. So now that we are in this situation, it's time that we apply the pressure to ourselves and do what we need to do to get to the next level. Because if we don't and we keep allowing this, there will be Hunger Games, and I'm not laughing. There will be apocalypse, and I'm not laughing. Like, these are things that can really take place. They don't just put this stuff in the movies for nothing.
Right.
This is the reality of the life that we are living in, the time and the day and age that we are living in. And not much is different from 1960. So it's like we can say, oh, my ancestor died and fought for this. My ancestor did this for this, that, and the other. Okay, well, your ancestor also died for you to gain the knowledge and the power to move past these systems that were put into place. So
that's real. That's real. And you also brought up a good point about propaganda, you know what I'm saying, and the Hunger Games and stuff like that, because it's funny that you brought that up, because when you start watching these movies and you see, or even, these predictions that they have of The Simpsons and cartoons that have subliminal messages and things like that, and I don't understand why people doesn't, like, that has to be a flat out question. Like, for me, when I first realized that they put subliminal messages in the kids' cartoons, I was like, wow. And I was thinking it was just one of the biggest things that I needed to tell everybody was the damn kids. Look, y'all know they got this shit up in it. But I think it felt like after a while, people start looking into it. And then they just stopped giving a fuck. Like, oh, it was funny more than it was like, damn, I was watching that when I was a kid. And how did that affect me? And I wonder how it's affected my children. Like, for some odd fucking reason, no light bulb goes off in a motherfucker's head to be like, oh, well, dang. You know what I'm saying? What's going on with, why would they have, penises in the background, subliminally hidden in that shit? That doesn't put a red flag for you, because it does for me. So I question everything that I see now on TV, and I look for the subliminals. I look for, the hidden messages, because there are there, and you have to ask yourself, well, why? Why would someone put some messages there that I'm, to the naked eye, I cannot see, and not even aware that it's there? Why is it necessary? Then it may want to lead you to start looking into some psychology shit and trying to understand how the mind works. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll be like, well, damn, that is deep. Once you start looking into how the mind works, then you start understanding yourself more and how powerful your mind is, and why it's so important for them to put
once you understand how your mind works, you understand how they've given you the illusion of choice. In all reality, the choices have always been made. They make the choices and give you a couple of different things to choose from, and no matter what you decide, it's always going to work in the favor of the system. So we need to understand that there's psychological, it's mainly psychological, the things that are even how we've gotten to this point for things to be this way. But at the same time, we need to also take under consideration that since it is psychological, whatever is happening in the mind is affecting us on different realms, no matter what. And that's something that we could probably say for another day, because that's a long conversation in itself, but it's deeper than just what's happening on this physical plane.
Exactly. So it is much deeper than just this physical existence and what we are experiencing here with Donald Trump and everything that's going on from a day to day. And that's what expanding your mind, understanding your mind, researching what the mind and psychology is so important. Why is it so important for people to have subliminal messages inside of, different symbolisms and things like that? Why is that? How does that affect our minds? How does that affect how we interpret stuff? You know what I mean? Like, once you start digging into that, then you'll realize, like, why people have a certain perspective about everything when it comes to, like, not just being a physical, but there's a spiritual realm as well, and another existence that we have to be able to tap into, not just on the physical level, also understanding from a mental level and a spiritual level how things work. And once we look at it that way, then I feel like people will then be able to open their minds more and see the reality. But other than that, some people just choose to be ignorant to it because of fear, and that's It all circles back around to fear. You know, there's fear and there's love. And so if you choose whichever one you want to exist in, do you want to exist in life and love and appreciation for your fellow brother, humanity, and just, you know, making sure that you're doing everything that you can with that energy of love? Or are you going to invest into the fear-based propaganda to make you have a certain energy about yourself? Because when you're in that fear vibration, that is a certain frequency. Like, we are all energy. So when you're, you know, having this fear-based energy, you're attracting those types of things to you. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with situations probably a lot more in a more negative manner because you're dealing with fear-based energy.
Exactly. And I feel like that has a lot to do with how we got to this point anyway. Everybody has been focusing on, oh, I don't want Trump, I don't want this, we can't let him win, we can't, no. And law of attraction, you get what you put out. So we spent so much time focusing on what we don't want that we got exactly just that. So we need to understand that the energy that we are projecting out into the world will also play a big part on how things happen overall. I mean, we seem like one individual person, but in reality, with one person having one positive thought, that can really change the vibration of humanity in whole. So if we got all of America now in fear because of how this election is playing out, what do you think that is doing to our world? What do you think that is doing to the consciousness and the mass consciousness of humanity? It is lowering it. And with the lower vibrations, it's easier to control the mind. So it's like it all comes back down to fear or love. Which one are you going to choose? Because at the end of the day, those are the only two real emotions that exist. Everything else falls under one and the other. So what are you going to choose?
Boy, and that's intellectual dopeness. We're going to end on that because that's so deep, like love and fear. So that's, at the end of the day, we're going to end on that. What are you working? What energy are you working on? Love or fear? Are you feeding into the love and building in your community? Are you building your family up, your children up, empowering them, teaching them, giving them knowledge? Or are you fear-based, worried about, the motherfucking world gonna end and, all this bullshit? You need to decide which energy do you carry around with you every day. And that's how we're gonna end that. All right.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Until next time.
Until next time. Peace and love.